Kind of a spooky opening, huh? Well, hang in there. It's going to get spookier and dangerous. I know the attention span of the average YouTube user is about 15 seconds, but try to hang in there. I want to orient you. I hate to watch somebody's good video and have no idea where he's talking about. We're in the panhandle of Florida, USA. This is St. George Island. This is the little town of Carabel. And this is the old town of Apalachicola. They have a haunted hotel here called the Gibson Inn. Check it out sometime. This is St. Vincent Island, and this is Little St. George. Our lighthouse will be right here, and that is what's called Bob Sykes, or government cut. It was cut by the Army Corps of Engineers in 1954 to allow access from the Gulf and from Apalachicola Bay back and forth. This used to be one long continuous island until the cut was made. This is Dog Island up here at the top with the little town of Carabel here. It's advertised in the Guinness Book of World Records as having the smallest police station in the United States, and I hope it stays that way, but the way things are going, I doubt it. So we're gonna go. This is our destination, and now you know where we are. That's downtown looking toward Apalachee Bay, and the one coming up, of course, is looking into the Gulf from downtown. And these are some of the nice homes there. We're fixing to go into the state park here, where it was damaged in 2005 Hurricane Dennis. And I'm going down to the end of the island. That's some of the sand dunes that were destroyed. These dunes used to be about 30 feet tall, and they were beautiful sugar white sands. It's almost flat now.
This place is going to shit, man. I mean, I'm serious. It's just getting wiped out. Here's a dune here in front of the airplane. That's probably one of the highest ones around. That's maybe 10 feet tall. It probably used to be 20 or 30.
I made several trips out there to the lighthouse, and I tell you what, sometimes it got really rough in these little light aircraft.
I tell you what, this is the roughest I have ever seen it. It's literally pulling me out of my seat, knocking the controls out of my hands. Just barely controllable. I'm on the east end of St. George right now.
That's Dog Island in the far distance. That's our next stop. This crooked picture is Land's End on St. George. Dog Island, next stop. It's kind of an oddity because no commercial activity is permitted on the island except for one small hotel. This is Dog Island looking from the west end. Most of the homes there are beach-style homes, nothing fancy. This is the west end again. I've flown out there and sailed my boat. It's a pretty neat island. A fishing boat rounds the extreme western tip of Dog Island. I forgot what this pass was called, but it's a natural pass. Hurricanes were and are devastating to these barrier islands. Sailing ships from the 1800s used to leave their ballast inside the harbor at Dog Island, waiting out the winds to enter the bay, which was much shallower. So they had to drop their ballast here, one of which can be seen right here, in order to lighten the load and enter into the shallow water of Apalachee Bay. Our last island is St. Vincent. A wealthy person owned it. He imported exotic animals from all around the world. I'm sure most of them are probably gone now, but items like a mule deer and things like that. So now you know where we are. But let's hop on the motorcycle and go visit the ghost at Little St. George Lighthouse. This is the light of Little St. George as it appeared in 1852 after it was constructed with the lighthouse keeper's home behind it. It sat at the time 500 yards away from the Gulf. You can see how close it is now due to beach erosion. But this was actually the second lighthouse. The first one was built in 1833, but it only lasted 3 years due to heavy storms and poor construction. This one was a replacement lighthouse, and like I said, was constructed in 1852. By 1990, beach erosion left the lighthouse vulnerable. It finally developed a lean, which increased over the years. It finally toppled into the Gulf on July 10th, 2005. If I remember right from news articles, this was an attempt to move it, as you can see from the supports there underneath. It didn't work, obviously. I decided to leave much of this unedited. It adds a touch of realism. Turn your volume down a bit. I was unable to edit the volume. Sorry about that.
I landed, well, as you can see, this is the lighthouse. Okay, we'll get that straight first. I landed okay. Everything went fine. It's right on the water's edge, by the way. And I'd say it's about 15 feet from the water right now. The lighthouse keeper's house is right behind it there. And the old kerosene, that's the old kerosene locker right there. And it is leaning. Got my camera level right now, if you can see the horizon, and it looks like it's leaning a good 5 to 10 degrees. We're going to go up in the air. The reason I'm not turning this camera off is because I've had trouble with it. It won't turn itself off and on. So it'll want to eject all the time. So we're going to go over here to the lighthouse. But you wouldn't believe the seashells around here. Man, it's worth coming just for the shells. And you can see where somebody drove up in here just recently. You see the tracks. I didn't see them, so they must have gone back. Could be somebody from that Marshall house, but it didn't look like it was occupied. Here's the base of the tower where it says danger, danger. I don't know why they got danger there. It seemed like it'd be danger all the way around. But anyway, I'm looking at the north side of it here. Hope this turns out alright. But you got look like a window right there on the left and a window on the right toward the center and the top way up there. I guess they opened those to get some air inside that, inside the tunnel there, inside the lighthouse. Now we're going to go over around to the north side of it. And as you can see now, we're starting to see some air beneath the lighthouse.
Yeah, boy, I spotted that from the air, and I got to thinking, could I crawl under there?
And here's the door. U.S. government property, keep off, etc., the usual. And we go to the top again on the north side.
Yeah, my good friend Randy, he got stranded out there. He had a Cessna 140, and he tipped over in the sand, and it bent his propeller. He couldn't take off, and he was gonna swim from Little St. George to St. Vincent, which is about a quarter of a mile across some dangerous water, and thankfully he didn't. It's a pretty good story in itself, but I'm gonna continue on here.
Okay, here we go. Going on there, we're gonna defy death here. Let's see. I'm gonna open this thing up wide open so we can maybe see something. Okay, we're going underneath now. Okay, you wouldn't believe the shells under here. I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's shells all over the place there.
I'll read it for you. Bear in mind, this megaton structure is held aloft by crumbling bricks. Creston, would sea cells occupy your thoughts at a moment like this? Not unless you're, well, forget it. This was filmed in November of '95. I was using a Canon High 8 camera, and it was messing up on me pretty bad, probably because of all the traveling I'd been doing. Keep my camera out of the sand. Maybe I'll be the first guy that goes over when the tower, when the lighthouse falls over, huh? You can read about me in the paper. Unknown individual falls over with a lighthouse. Not that it didn't matter. Okay. Now we're inside. You can see the spiral staircase going up. I'm on my back right now looking up. And you're looking at the inside of it. Right there, you're looking at the inside of the door. The inside of the doorway. And now you can tell how far it's tilted. Because I've got about 2 feet of space underneath here. Okay, I'm going to stand up now. Get on my feet. Now, you can see the old light. The bottom of the stairway is about 4 to 5 feet off the ground. Let's see if you can see my boot. Yeah, you can see my boot down there. So I've got to go from there up to here. And I'm going to go all the way to the top. If nobody shows up, that is, and runs me off. There's the first window right there on my right, by the way. Alright, here we go. If I can do this without tearing up my cameras. It feels like it's pretty sturdy. Yeah, it's still held in. I found out later that this circular stairway was held up by 2 loose bolts. As you can see, it's still, let's see, where am I at? Okay, it's still held in there. You got a support here, and you got a support up there at the top. Let's see if I can find another one. I don't want to go bust my ass. Okay, I see, okay, one at the top is pulled out. Let's see, where am I at? Okay, we're at the top. That one way up there is pulled out. And I got 2 more, though, that are still there. Let me see if it wobbles, by the way. Yeah, it wobbles. Oh, shit. Hang on a second, guys. I would hate to... I guess it'd hurt anything if it did fall. Nah, it'd just crush you and kill you, that's all. Like they say in the islands, not a problem, man. Well, let's see what happens. I don't weigh but 200 pounds. Maybe 200 pounds would be just enough to bust it up. You may be asking yourself, why do people do things like this? And all I can say is, that's a good question. I've been doing stuff like this all my life. Now, though I didn't say anything here, I'm not completely crazy. I am thinking about my 200 pounds jumping up and grabbing a hold of this spiral staircase going to the top, and what effect it'll have. Oh, I'm out of shape. Any other time I'd have grabbed that rail and gone up. I'm going to have to try another way. Okay, you still there?
So far it's holding me. I'm up to the first window and the first step. Going up the stairway. Carefully.
I can't read the top too well, but I think it says, "Abandon hope, all ye maniacs who enter here." April 1984 by U.S. Coast Guard. That's probably when it was decommissioned.
I'm waiting for this son of a bitch to just fall. Well, you wouldn't believe the inside of this thing is real neat. Oh shit. What I thought were holding this thing up ain't holding this thing up.
Okay, did anybody hear that? It sounds like my breath, but that is not my breath. And it's a similar sound to what you're gonna hear near the top. I'll play it back for you and see if you can pick it out. One reason I say it's not mine is because why haven't we heard it before? And I know what my breath sounds like, and that is not it. You'll see as we get closer to the top.
Let me show you something. As you can see, these things are about pulled out of the wall. There's the first window, by the way. So if I don't make this video should show you what the hell happened to my stupid ass. Okay, we're still going up. It's getting darker as we go. I bet this guy got dizzy. You can feel the lean as you start to go up too. It's really starting to get leany. Okay. We're still working here. We're up to that second window. We're about halfway up, I'd say, maybe more.
The light will return in a minute or so. The higher you go, the more pronounced the lean was, which I found kind of odd. Previously, when you heard that breath sound, I did not make the boot hitting the stairway sound. Now, what was occupying my mind was to walk up and wondering if this sucker was going to fall over, while I'm going. And I think that's why I ignored all that. Actually, it didn't even register in my mind.
Still trucking. You can really start to feel the lean now. The higher you go. Hope I don't cause the sunrays to fall over. My ass will be grass. Somebody recently painted in here. Somebody recently painted in here. Somebody recently painted in here.
If you listened closely to that noise, it did not sound like a bolt popping loose like I thought in the actual video. That was a whistling type noise. There were no bird droppings in the tower, and no birds were in the tower, so that rules out birds. Also, the lantern at the top had to be windproof. It had to be protected from the elements, so that ruled out wind. I can't think of anything else. Found another one not connected here. Some of you might wonder how I could mistake that whistling noise for a bolt popping loose. Well, I'll tell you what, you had to be near the top, in the dark, in a lighthouse, thinking it might fall over at any second, and then that might explain it. What I'm going to do now is play the earlier recording, and then right after that, the more pronounced recording. Take my word, folks, I do not exhale that fast.
Somebody recently painted in here. Somebody Somebody recently painted in here. Somebody recently painted in here.
Listen to the tone of those two sounds. They sound very much alike. The first one more subdued, the second one more pronounced, more forceful. In addition, I was talking when the second sound emitted, so there's no way I could talk and make that sound at the same time. The following is part of the original video when I thought it was a bolt popping loose. That was not the sound of a bolt.
Right there. Right there. Shit. Guy is. I'm sorry. That just ain't. I don't know what's holding it at the top. If I knew, I'd gone up. But all I can see is these little side things, the little side braces. This thing's gonna drop. See, if it drops, it's gonna drop 4 feet. That could break a leg. I just don't know what's at the top.
It's not like me to chicken out. People that know me know that's the truth, but I don't know. I was out there by myself. It was an island. If the airplane didn't crank, I would have had to swim back or do something. And it was about 2 miles to Bob Sykes Cut, and it was late in the afternoon. And, you know, sometimes you just have to retreat, okay? Yeah, I beat feet after that. On the way down, I was placing my steps very carefully, trying not to make that thing sway at all. I was afraid it was going to drop.
We're almost down. I'll break something. It's going to be down here close to the ground at least. Well, so much for that fucking idea. Now I'm shaking the piss out of it and it ain't even moving.
Did you hear that last comment? Now I'm shaking the heck out of it and it's not even moving. It did not sway at all on the way down. It did on the way up, but not on the way down. Not at all. It makes me wonder, like I said earlier, I had my mind on what I was doing. And I was worried about the thing falling over. I mean, it was literally held up by crumbling bricks. One of the riskiest things I ever did in my life. But the thing did not move. That tells me that old lighthouse keeper probably was looking after me. He was trying to scare me, but I was thinking about other things, and he held it steady for me to get down.
Oh, well.
Yeah, baby. That was one time when I thought I had pushed it a little bit too far. It was creepy. In the comment section, if YouTube lets me leave comments, tell me what you think that noise was. It was not a wind noise, take my word for it, and it was not a bolt popping loose, of course. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that.
Somebody recently painted it. Somebody recently painted it.